In season 2, we ask a lot of big questions, a lot of big science questions, universe questions, faith questions. I think it's a more fun season because we finally get the chance to play. We've sort of set the stage for all the drama to unfold, and now we see that happening.
I really love the arc that they've created for Eli in season 2. He's kind of coming into his own, really. He's growing up a little bit because of all the events from before, and a whole bunch more happens in season 2. He starts to have to take responsibility for his own life and kind of realize his own potential, or at least what he might be capable of, and grow into it. Kind of looking at everyone around him and learning as much as he can, as quickly as he can. Well, he was in a little sticky situation with Chloe. He kind of had to decide between the good of the ship or the girl that he really cares for. So when we first catch up with him in season 2, it's the fallout of everything that's been going on. Everyone's kind of had this death looming over them, and so no one knows who's going to survive. And on top of that, even if we all do, we have to kind of take back the ship. So it's this great tense beginning to the season, and I'm sure all the fans are sick of waiting to find out what's going to happen.
Chloe's just been shot in the leg and is miraculously healing, which raises a lot of questions, obviously. So she's undergoing not just the leg, but a bunch of other changes as a result of something that happened to her in the first season. So she's going on a very different journey this season, and is sort of I guess you could say separated from the rest of the people on the ship as a result of what's happening. Because of what she's going through, it puts a great strain on the relationship. I think Matthew starts to look at her in a different light, and it puts this divide up between them. And I think he stops seeing her for who she is, for a while anyway. So yeah, it's I think one of the biggest tests to their relationship. And then there's also something very significant that happens in a particular episode that is almost like an eternal union of the pair. So you'll have to tune in and see what I mean about that.
I think it's terrifying. Chloe, there was definitely a love connection to begin with that isn't over by any means, but they've grown into this best friendship, this kind of confidant, I can trust you kind of place. So to be potentially losing that, and one way or another losing her, I think is terrifying.
She's unpredictable. They don't really know what's happening to her. I mean, there's theories, and it does start to become pretty obvious, but she is beyond, but by the time it's time to make a choice about what's happening, she's sort of beyond their control, and could be a danger to other people on board the ship. So Young is forced to act quickly.
Eli came to this place and found a few people that he can trust, that he can confide in, that he will always have around, and they're kind of in a strange way being pulled away from him. And I think that is part of the catalyst about what makes Eli change, because he starts to realize he needs to count on number one, otherwise there might be no one left. I connect with Eli. I view him as my surrogate to exactly how I would react if I was in this situation. If I was thrust onto a spaceship all of a sudden and told, you have to learn all these things or you're going to die, he does exactly what I would probably do in that situation. In the first season, it's all about, like, oh, I hate you, why are you here, get rid of you, and all that stuff. And season 2 is more about coming together for a common goal. And I think a lot of the discovery of different parts of the ship and kind of maybe the potential to be able to control things is a great metaphor for our purpose. Instead of, oh, we're all here, God, get me home, it starts to be, okay, we're here, now what? What can we do from here? How can we enact our own destiny, as it were, So it kind of becomes its own driving force.
It's an acceptance, I think, of we are here, this might be it for us, we should, make the most of it, see what this ship is made of. There is an intelligence to the ship that we hadn't known of until this season.
With some of the new rooms we discover on the Destiny, they really end up changing the game, and it really kind of it brings the roller coaster ride going even faster when we discover kind of the way to possibly control the ship. It's a game changer for everyone.
There is a new love interest on the old ship Destiny. So, Chloe's got some competition, turns out.
I love that storyline. I really do. It's great to see that side of Eli, the not pining over, but the actual something going on kind of aspect. And then on top of that, it's a beautiful actress and a very talented actress as well.
When Eli and Chloe met at the beginning of season 1, there was obviously an instant connection, and I think, but not as rare as he would have wanted it to be, unfortunately. And it's evolved into this amazing, wonderful friendship, which I think at the beginning they both weren't on the same page as to what they wanted out of the relationship.
Scott came along, and there's a great connection there. They really do have something. I truthfully don't think, because it's a good drama, that relationship is ever over, and I really do think that there is a future something for Eli and Chloe, but I'm also a little bit biased right now because Eli's new love interest it's different. Everyone always says you never fall out of love, you fall in love with someone else, but it's different, and it's that kind of thing. It's a completely different relationship, and I think it's good for Eli, and it's what he needs now, and it definitely leads to a lot of craziness this season for him. But I wouldn't count out Eli and Chloe.
It's sort of more interesting to keep the Chloe and Eli thing going, to not, satisfy that relationship until further on, because I think, whenever you watch those great TV shows where you're rooting for those two characters to get together, the moment they do, it kind of is anticlimactic after that. So I think that if there's any likelihood of that happening, it won't be for some time. But that's just my theory.
I had to run get something at home, and I didn't have a car, and one of the great transpo people gave me a ride home, and I was like, I'll just take the SkyTrain back. Completely forgot I was in costume.
Oh, no, really?
I took the SkyTrain back with the red shirt and the hoodie. I'm like, oh, God.
I used to SkyTrain to and from home and work, and I've left with marks on my face and covered in dirt, and not realized that people are kind of giving me that weird side glance, so think that
yeah, especially after the episode Lost.
Yeah.
We were covered in dirt for a week and a half.
Yeah, I had marks on my head and all this stuff, and blood, and people are like, it's oh, it's a flesh wound.